What is up, you guys? So I'm gonna do a review for One Piece chapter 829, titled Yonkou Charlotte-Linlin, so aka worst mom ever. So if you read the chapter before I read the links in the description below, spoiler warning. So let's start off with the cover page. Obviously more promotional posters for One Piece Don't Go, as in the book. We see Luchi there, we see Saba there, we see the group of the Brachiosaurus, Yonkou as well. And then you see the Straw Hats looking down the sun. Then we move on to the start of the chapter, and Straw Hats are moving on to another island, presumably Jam Island, I think. Although, you never can tell because they just got cut off by a sea creature. Luffy looks like he's about to fight. Nami gets super pissed off and Luffy tries to do the cooking again. That's not going to happen. So, but the main purpose of this chapter is, well, there's actually, before I move on to the big monster, there's something that Peckham said that caught my attention as well. The things he said once before I was on Big Mom's district or on Whole Cake Island. So that believes me two things. Number one, he's a double agent. And I'm not saying he's working on the Big Mom or anything like that, but he already seems shady enough as it is. So, and plus there's already speculation maybe an underling of Kaido. I don't know. He was talking to that mink a couple of chapters ago, so maybe something there. But whatever, for another day. The main discussion though has to be Big Mom, and it's a sort of chapter that gives us answers, but it raises a lot more questions because, I mean, the whole thing about being scared of Big Mom is contradicted by this chapter because she gives the reason to instill fear, even if you're a family member, if you're a daughter, if you're a son. It doesn't matter. Big Mom is not biased. She'll eat whoever the fuck she wants, wherever she gets the cravings. So that's insane in itself. Now, the controversial thing here is a devil fruit abilities. Now, I may be alone on this, but I'm pretty sure there's a couple of people who've been saying the same thing about what our abilities are. And number one, it narrows down the margin. I think some people have said it's a nature-like devil fruit where it's just the power to bring life into inanimate objects, or in this case food, because you see pre-post-it faces on this, so I'll explain that. Or it's just a pill, and this is the prediction that I made, the ability to materialize stuff into inanimate objects. But there's other couple of things as well. When we see the Straw Hats going through, they made the observation that the river is made out of juice. I mean, come on, how much more devil fruit related clues can you get? And I'm not saying you got a whole lot of Charlotte family members anyway, probably with devil fruit abilities. The wild card in this, though, in my opinion, is why the Living Smokes want Sanji to marry this insane bitch so badly, because it seems like anytime she's going to get craving, she's going to go after whoever the fuck she wants. And she went after her own son, and I guess now there's only 45 members, or 45 sons in the Charlotte family, because once got munched on. What was weird about before that happened though, you see Big Mom's ability, she took the lifespan of that Charlotte family member, one of the sons, so I'm curious, does she have the power to steal somebody's lifespan and then put it into an object, or could it be something else related? But like I said, it narrows down the margin of what abilities could be. Nothing crystal clear quite yet. However, if that were the case and she has the ability to bring life into objects or take life from an object, I'm kind of curious, would that may be a way of contradicting Kaido, maybe, in his immortality, perhaps, because you do have, the way it sets out, it's like even the Yonkou has something to counteract whatever the other Yonkou are throwing. team with Blackbeard. He has the ability to not only destroy the world but negate devil fruits. With Kaido, he possibly has the ability to be immortal as well as being an awakened Zoan. And with Big Mom's case, possibly the ability to give life into objects or take life from objects. I'm not too sure, or to materialize into objects. There's this, unless she has 2 devil fruit abilities, which would be insane, but not impossible, I'm sure, especially given the fact she's Yonkou anyway. Now, and this brings up something else as well. Speaking of Kaido related, the whole thing about, I mentioned a couple of chapters ago about Caesar Clown, what kind of role he might play. Well, the thing about Pedro is, with Pedro already been on the Whole Cake Island, it's not the first time, and let's say that he might be a spy working for Kaido, trying to get information from Big Mom. Maybe that was the reason he was on the Whole Cake Island before, perhaps. By the way, the whole thing about Big Mom eating a castle, that obviously, I don't know if it was her, but obviously that was turned into whoever has the ability to turn food from a castle into a cake. That's devil fruit related. And something else that I mentioned as well, I was actually saying for shits and giggles, but it seems like it's taking a bit more serious on the part of Oda, because I'm starting to think the way Oda played this out, when Jinbei arrives and brings in the Cream Force, he literally saved the day. Big Mom says 2 things. Number 1, she says, "Oh, did you bring me my poneglyph?" Let's assume that poneglyph Jinbei found is one of the rogue poneglyphs. If that's the case, that ruins we saw Jinbei pull the poneglyph for was either under Big Mom's territory, or she already had that, and somebody took it away. Maybe, I'm not too sure. And here's the thing. The Straw Hats need that poneglyph, or leave the transcriptions right on. They need to take notes from that poneglyph and give it to Nico Robin. And by the way, this brings even more importance to Nico Robin now, because Big Mom doesn't know how to read the poneglyphs either. I'm pretty sure Kaido doesn't, because that's why he's going around chasing after not only Momonosuke, but why he was so interested in Odin as well. And maybe even interested in Dryas, I'm not too sure. We'll have to see about that when we get to Wano later on. But yeah, it's become more and more apparent how important Robin is, not only to the Straw Hats, but to everyone else, because she's the only one in the world that can decipher those poneglyphs. And I kind of question why the bounty is not as high as 120. I think for sure she should be 130, but whatever. Again, I'm sure by the end of the Wano arc she will be higher than 200, but we'll have to see. And something else as well, will Jinbei fight Big Mom? That's the big question right now. Personally, I don't think so, because if Jinbei wanted to fight her, number 1, why did he bring the poneglyph to her? Knowing, given the fact that he knows Nico Robin is the only one who can decipher him. If Big Mom's a part, Big Mom's to say, oh, Jinbei is also part of the crew, and then she says at the end of the chapter, are you leaving the crew? That's where the chapter cuts. But so Jinbei has been working with the Big Mom's crew. My question is, for how long and when? Was it when they escaped from Impel Down? Was it after the time skip? Or maybe when Fisherman Island was under Big Mom's protection? But now it's not under her protection, because Luffy kind of called her out. And we know how Jinbei feels about Luffy. Maybe Jinbei's going to stand up for her. You have to remember, this is a versus 4 Emperors arc, technically. Because this is supposed to be a setup arc for the fight between the 4 Yonkou, or at least against the 4 Yonkou. So this will be one way to set up a fight. The question is, would Jinbei stand a chance? Obviously not, but it depends if Oda goes that way. I doubt it, given the fact that, like I said, if Jinbei wanted to fight her, when he was stuck in cream buns enough face, he could attack them. And why did he give the poneglyph to Big Mom in the first place? Seems like a plot device, and like I said this before about the poneglyph. I was kind of joking out about this could actually happen now. She could transform that into a cake or into a sweet, and the Straw Hats wouldn't be able to find it. And we know they need those that poneglyph to find Raffle eventually. So they're gonna have to find that. That leads into a dangerous situation for Straw Hats. And Big Mom's pretty dangerous in itself. So, and there's also, this could be where the rest of the Yonkou could be conniving. And this is why I question Ikaraba going to Wano, because they could have decided that without having to sneak up and taking notes. Now that they have to, number one, find the poneglyph, get the Sanji, get the hell out of there, and somehow try to avoid a fight Big Mom. I don't think that's happening, especially if Jinbei gets fucked up. Can you imagine how pissed off Luke would be if not only Sanji leaves the crew, but also Jinbei gets fucked up. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens next week. That was a really good chapter by Oda. Once again, hitting it out of the park. Let me know what you guys think down below. Will we get a fight between Jinbei and Big Mom? Let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Comment, rate, and subscribe as always. Catch you guys on more One Piece.